You know, being in love, it's just one of the best feelings in the world, right? But what happens when that love is absolutely there, but the relationship still falls apart? It's so painful, so confusing, and it can really make you question everything. So let's get into it and try to make some sense of one of life's toughest paradoxes. And that's the thing, it's such a tough pill to swallow. You can be with someone who you know deep down really loves you, and that person can still choose to leave. And that feeling of abandonment, man, it can just wreck you, because you know the love was real, but somehow that just wasn't enough to make them stay. So that's the big question, right? It's the one that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. To try and get some closure, or maybe just a little more understanding, we're going to dig into 6 of the most common reasons why people make that incredibly hard choice to leave someone they still love.
Okay, so first up, let's look at the basic building blocks that love needs to survive. Because it turns out, love all by itself, well, it can feel kind of empty if it doesn't have a couple of really crucial things holding it up.
All right, number 1, a lack of mutual respect. Look, respect is the foundation. It's non-negotiable. Your partner might love you to pieces, but if they don't feel respected, if they feel like their dignity is being chipped away, they're just not going to stay. And you know what? They shouldn't have to.
And that brings us to the second reason, no emotional support. You want a relationship to be that safe place, right? Where you can be completely, totally vulnerable. But being vulnerable is a huge risk. You have to trust that the other person has your back. So if your partner feels like they can't open up without being judged, those walls start to go up, and that deep connection just begins to fizzle out.
So on top of those really core needs, other little cracks can start showing up in a relationship's foundation. Let's take a look at the gaps that can start to grow, both physically and personally. Which leads us right into reason number 3, the loss of physical intimacy. And let's be super clear here. We're talking about so much more than just sex. We're talking about holding hands, a quick hug when you get home from work, that simple, comforting contact. In fact, studies show that this kind of non-sexual intimacy is a huge deal for long-term happiness.
And what's crazy is just how powerful touch really is. Get this, a really cool study from 2009 found that touch alone has this incredible 78% accuracy rate in communicating distinct emotions. I mean, just think about that for a second. People in this study, blindfolded, could tell if a stranger was trying to communicate things like love or gratitude or sympathy just by touch. So when that kind of powerful, unspoken language just vanishes from a relationship, that's a massive loss. Okay, reason number 4 is a big one. One partner feeling like they're just not good enough. I mean, we all have this deep need to feel like we're enough for the person we're with. Your partner wants to feel seen by you, appreciated for who they are. If, over time, they don't get that, they start to feel like they're failing you. And that is an awful way to feel day in and day out.
All right, for our last 2 reasons, we're diving right into the heart of it all. How we talk to each other, how we connect on that deeper level, and, well, what happens when that starts to go wrong.
So, number 5, not feeling heard. We're always told communication is key, but we always think that means we need to talk more. But really, it's all about how we listen. Look at the difference here between listening to respond versus listening to understand. Are you just kind of waiting for them to take a breath so you can jump in? Or are you really trying to get what they're feeling behind the words?
So you really have to ask yourself that question. Because if your partner feels like they're not being heard, like they can't even get a word in without being cut off, they're just going to stop trying. They'll shut down, they'll start to feel invisible, and that's a lonely place to be.
And this all connects to something that, well, a lot of us have probably experienced. Basically, studies show that initial super intense can't get enough of you feeling, it tends to cool down after about 2 years. Yep, the honeymoon phase, it's got a shelf life. And that brings us to our 6th and final reason. The emotional connection is gone. So when that initial fire starts to die down, and trust me, it does, what's left? What keeps a relationship going, what really gives it legs, is a real, genuine friendship. It's that deep bond. And without that, well, the love that's left over can feel really empty. Okay, so we've walked through the 6 big reasons why someone might leave, even when there's still love there. But, understanding the why is just the first step. Let's flip this around now and turn these problems into a positive game plan for building something that can really, truly last. So instead of looking at them as reasons to leave, let's think of them as the 6 absolute keys to making it last. It's all about actively building respect, offering that emotional support, nurturing all kinds of intimacy, showing appreciation, truly listening to understand, and finally, just never, ever giving up on that core friendship. When you boil it all down, it's really this simple.
Love is that amazing spark, right? It's the fire that gets everything started. But that fire needs fuel to keep burning. And these 6 keys, that's the fuel. You have to keep adding it every single day to keep that flame alive.
So I'll leave you with this thought. Whether you're trying to heal from a relationship that ended, or you're building a new one, getting a handle on this stuff is powerful. You've got the blueprint now. The only real question is, what are you going to build with it?